most men are texting women like they would friends when their desires are completely different. In this video, I'm going to share with you common mistakes I've seen men do when they text. Biggest mistake they make is they're treating women like friends. So stop treating her like a friend because your desire is completely different. Let's be real. You want to be in bed with this girl. You want to possibly be in a relationship with this girl. You're not there to be friends with women. But for some reason, men take this conversation with women and they start texting in a way where it's like you're texting your friend. And even when you text your guy friends, you don't act like that to begin with. You're not saying like, oh, hey, how's your day? What are you doing? Oh, that's cool, man. You're into this. I'm into this too. Like, I get okay, that could work for a friendship. However, it's not the norm that you would do. And when you bring this conversation to a woman, you're showing that you are not congruent to yourself, because to be congruent is you acting on the desires of what you want. You want sex. Like, that's what it is. Let's just own it. And before you say, oh, that's a bad thing, like, I'm a Christian. I never had sex with anybody but my wife. It doesn't mean that my conversations were like, oh, hey, how are you going? It was very sexualized. It was very sexual tension based. I still had experiences with women on first dates, just not sex. But you have to do it the way that you are desiring. You have to be congruent to who you are and what you want. So if you're texting women in a way where you're trying to be their friend, you're going to fail. They can feel it. They can feel the incongruency of what you're trying to be in a romantic relationship with them. And yet you're trying to treat them like a friend. You're trying to hide. You're trying to be the nice guy. You're trying to mask your desire for what you want. And when you do that, I would say you're not acting like a man. You're acting like a woman in a way where you want something, but you're not super clear about what you want. That's a feminine energy. If you try to meet feminine energy with feminine energy, it's a turnoff. And then maybe you'll become her friend, like an actual friend zone. And that's not what you want. So how do you do it? How do you text in a way which isn't a friend? And to most people, if they see the text that I've texted with women and they don't understand women, they're going to be like, oh, that's weird. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, like there's going to be all these stories of why. The goal of what you want to do is keep it light and funny. Light and funny while trying to tease, joke, banter with them, treat them like a little bratty sister that you're just like, oh, that's a cute little bunny. And you want to almost imagine a cute little bunny that's hopping around and like, oh, you're like, oh, cute. You're like a cute little bunny. And your brain has to be in a way where you're not like, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful woman ever. You have to train your mind to see women in a way where you're not elevating their status. That's not what they want to begin with. They want to be feminine. They want to feel secure, to feel a strong man. They want to feel that energy, and it's sexy to feel that energy. So how do you do this? You can do it in a lot of ways when you text. You can joke around with her and tease her. It might mean like if she's texting you something and you don't like the direction of it, you're just like, hey, this little bunny is just texting something very weird in her own world, and you shift the conversation over. You could do the whole push-pull thing. There are a ton of ways to do this. You can do self-deprecating humor where you don't really care. It could be whatever you want. I'm going to put up some text so that you can see some of my previous texts with women. You want to be really light and humorous in your own personality. So if your personality and your humor is not yet developed, it means you're going to have to go and study and find humorous texts with other guys and girls and see what they're texting and find what makes you laugh. And once you do that, and I hope that some of my texts help, but once you do that, you find your own way to make yourself laugh. And that's the way that you want to try to communicate with women. I'm not saying that you will always talk to women like this. It is just the best way to text them, to open them up to be light and humorous. But in person, you're going to do a mix of funny talk, serious talk, whatever it is, your passions, your purposes in life, etc. But you want to start it by always just being humorous. You don't want to get into a question mode type of thing ever. Some other mistakes I see men make is that when they text women, they constantly are seeking for some kind of validation or some kind of feeling from them. If you come from a place of wanting to make yourself laugh and have a good time and have them have a good time, your texts are going to completely change because you're no longer seeking for like, oh, I want this girl. And I know that mindset because I used to have it. It'd be like, oh my gosh, this girl is so beautiful. Like, I don't know what to say to her. Like, I really want to get this girl. If you come in with that energy, you've already screwed yourself from the very beginning because the whole point of it is that little bunny that is hopping around and you're just like, oh, that's cute. And you're just having a good time of light and humorous talk, light, humorous, fun conversation where you're making yourself laugh. And that's one of the most important things that you need to do when you're texting women. Another mistake I see men commonly make when they're texting women is they get scared when a test or some kind of text that throws them off comes along. It could be things like, can I bring someone else on this date? Or it could be them being sassy or them bantering back with you or them saying something that is rude even or disagrees with you. And if you fail these tests, you end up losing that attraction right then and there. So you have to come at text in a way where, again, it's just a little bunny that's hopping around. And if that little bunny does something weird, you're just going to put that bunny back in its place. If that bunny moves past a barrier that shouldn't be crossed, you're going to guide that bunny back. So whenever these texts come along that throw you off, you have to remember that little bunny scenario of, I'm just going to move the bunny back into the area that it should be. I'm not saying that women are bunnies. I'm trying to get your mind in a way where you can understand a test doesn't matter. You just move the bunny back. So if she says something like, I'll link one of the responses I saw a while back, to bring in a friend. If she throws a test at you like, oh, you seem kind of rude, you could completely tease her and joke with her and not be insulting. That is the biggest problem that I ran across when I was trying to figure out. And this goes to the last point, which is you never want to use humor in a way to insult them. It never works. They'll end up blocking you. You have to do it in a way where it's clear teasing and it's not in a way that actually could hurt them. And if you do hurt them, just apologize. Just apologize, move on. And if it's lost, it's lost. But at least you apologize. To make sure that whenever you do go cross that line yourself of maybe being a little bit rude in your humor, maybe being too dark, just apologize, trickle back and just be like, oh, I was just trying to make you laugh. Looks like that was a bad idea. It's totally my bad. I'm sorry for saying something like that. And then joke around again. So I hope this helps. These are common mistakes that I see quite a lot when I see men try to text women.